Alrighty, folks, it is time for our first match of the Revolution World Championships for 2026. We're up against DrChipmunk here on Red White Karaz Monument. There was a bit of a hiccup here with trying to get us situated for our first match. There was a bit of drama. I'm not going to get into it too much, but there was a bit of drama with one of the decks that was submitted by a couple players this month. Some very strong feelings on both sides of the conversation, and my understanding of how everything has played out is that a couple players have dropped from the tournament in the wake of it all, one of whom was our round one opponent. Seems like folks have mostly cooled down from it, and if folks haven't, this is ultimately meant to be fun for everyone. The stakes are highest as they'll get in the community, but the stakes still aren't like, there's no money on the line or anything. This is still all just for the fun of the game, for the love of the game. So for folks who've stepped out of the tournament, I hope you have a lovely rest of your month. Hope you all are excited for the rotation announcement that should be coming soon, and I look forward to hopefully having you all back, seeing you all competing again in the first GP next month of the next season. So we got a bye functionally through the opponent for our actual round one match conceding. So we are straight into our second match, which I'm going to be calling our round one, just for the sake of clear communication on how many matches have been played on the video titles. So this is technically round two. This is round one in terms of how it will be understood for all of you. So we're up against DrChipmunk, Red White Karaz Monument. Chip is one of the two players with the highest amount of qualification points in the field, so she's gonna be on the play in game one. There is nothing we can do about that. We might be able to be on the play if we lose a match. If we lose a game. The goal today is to make sure that Chip is on the play every single game we play. So Karaz Monument is a red-white enchantments and artifacts deck built around the namesake Karaz Monument. It's a 1 and a white enchantment that I kind of rated really lowly when we went over everything from Solitaire. Whenever it or another enchantment you control enters, you put a charge counter on it. Whenever an artifact enters, you remove a charge counter from it. If you do, you draw a card. It becomes a 3/3 with flying until end of turn. The function of Karaz Monument here is that it allows you to convert already reasonable cards into additional value and pressure over time. Flyers are really good right now, and you can have anything that is both an enchantment plus an artifact token immediately convert into cantripping plus making a 3/3 monument for the turn. So it kind of plays almost like an Enchantress deck in that way, but there's some real pressure backing it up rather than just trying to snowball into a bunch of mana like the Enchantress decks that you might expect from official Magic. So playset of Karaz Monument is the only playset for the Enchantment Suite. There are only 4 other playsets in the non-land suite overall. For creatures, that is a playset of Kitsune Matriarch at 1/1 for 1, that whenever you create 1 or more tokens, you put a +1/+1 counter on the Matriarch. A lot of the things in this deck, besides Karaz Monument, do make tokens. Turns out, though this deck does not run any dedicated artifact cards in the main, there are a lot of things that make artifact tokens right now, so Matriarch kind of benefits from all of those artifact tokens being created. There's also a playset of Fabricated Anomaly, 3 mana 2/3, not an enchantment as of a more recent nerf, which I was not super high on, but it does meaningfully hit this deck in particular, because Fabricated Anomaly no longer gives Karaz Monument a charge counter when it enters, but it does still make the Puzzle Box, which is an artifact token, will animate the Karaz Monument, will buff the Kitsune Matriarch, allows you to rummage away cards from your hand, and then it can let you scale up some of your creatures that attack by eating cards out of your graveyard equal to their power. And then the last playset in the creature suite is a playset of Offset Daemon. We may not be playing Jeskai Control, but we're sure going to be having to fight at least some Offset Daemons this month. Card has absolutely been proving itself this season, where it was kind of on the fringe in seasons prior. 4 mana 3/3 flyer with a lifelink haste that cannot block. When it enters, if it was cast, you create a red and white subroutine enchantment token named Overflow. With when this subroutine runs, return a card named Offset Demon from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this makes 2 enchantments for Karaz Monument, can build up multiple charge counters. This puts a counter on Kitsune Matriarch when you cast it. If you rummaged away additional copies of with Fabricated Anomalies Puzzle Box earlier on, the Offset Demons that you've discarded can get brought back with the Overflow token. Just a lot of really solid internal synergies there. And then the last playset is Terminal Impact. What a shocker. Terminal Impact is one of the best burn spells the format has access to right now. And this is the final month that it will be legal in traditional Revolution. So certainly it's going to get put through its paces one last time. We're on a playset, the opponent's on a playset. So we'll see whose Terminal Impact deck ultimately comes out on top. Beyond that, there's 2 other creatures in the main, 2 copies of Eviva Grip Exec, 1 in quad red, for a 5/5 legendary human bard that can't be countered. Whenever she enters or attacks, opponent will get to create a 2/2 red warrior creature token. That impulse draws a top card of their library. I'm going to play that card this turn. So can kind of push really wide, can really snowball some card advantage if left unchecked. There is a pair of Flags on High as another early play. This is not an awful thing to curve out. You can go Kitsune Matriarch into Flags on High. 2 mana enchantment, make 2 1/1 soldiers. You can pay 1 in a red and sack it to give a creature +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. Only as a sorcery, so you can use this to kind of rush in a Fabricated Anomaly, gain a little bit more life off of Offset Demon or apply a little more pressure. You could play a Karaz Monument, have something enter that, immediately animates the monument, and then sack Flags on High to give the monument haste to swing 4 in the air. Not too common that enchantment mode will be used the sack mode will be used too often, but it's just some bodies to kind of come up the board early on, can be some decent pressure. The tokens do kind of do some nice work with Fabricated Anomaly as well. 1/1s do gain the anomaly buffs much more quickly. And it is a reasonable thing to sacrifice to Darkstar Severance. There are 3 copies of this. It's 2 red for an enchantment. When it enters, it makes a chart token. So that is Karaz Monument, getting a counter and animating all at the same time. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, you sacrifice a non-land permanent and then make a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. So you can immediately convert that chart token or any other junk token you might have laying around into a 3/1 with haste. It can be a lot of pressure building up turn after turn, especially since those 3/1s do not go away at the end of turn. If they don't get blocked and killed, they are just going to continue to pile up and apply more pressure over time. And in a pinch, this can also just pop itself to convert itself into a 3/1 with trample and haste. This is a card that I had pretty high hopes for and has slowly been gaining momentum and popularity, which is nice to see. There's 3 copies as well of Shigani Manor Burns. It's another enchantment that comes in and immediately makes an artifact. So this is going to animate your Karaz Monument as well as replace the charge counter on it. First chapter makes a treasure token. Second chapter lets you discard a card to impulse draw top 2 and play 1 this turn. Third chapter deals 2 to each opponent, and it's a time loop saga, so it's going to set right back to 0 when it does that final chapter ability. And then finally, for the enchantment suite, there are 3 copies of Gone Pickin'. This is one of the key removal spells of the deck. This also animates Karaz Monument as well as replacing the charge counter, because this is going to enter, exile an on-land permanent we control, and then they make a berry token, which is an artifact. They can attach it to a creature they control immediately, so that's going to allow them to not only pick something out of play, but get a 2 damage boost on one of their things. Definitely, I think Gone Pickin' one of the biggest beneficiaries of the berry buff at the start of last month. We haven't gotten to see it put to use too much, but I've done a little bit of playtesting this matchup, and let me tell you, it really does matter. There are absolutely cases where this can be the difference maker. Pick one of the few blockers I have for an Offset Demon out of play, while also giving Offset Demon +2/+2 for the turn is pretty significant. So, Gone Pickin' is a pretty good removal spell in that regard. Otherwise, last non-land card in the deck is 2 copies of Fateful Ascent, another removal spell. 1 in a white, destroy a creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Its controller creates a chart token. So the name of the game here is just apply some quick early pressure, try and snowball. When the board starts to come up, Karaz Monument and Offset Demon can chip over the top. Otherwise, just try and grind out value. Shigani Manor Burns can eventually bleed me out. And then they kind of just want to close things out with a Terminal Impact if and when they can. Mana Base here is got a playset of the different duels available right now. Windbeaten Stones and Temple of Origins both on 4 copies. There's also 2 copies of Torrid Path, 3 copies of Primal Fissure, and 1 copy of Grip Festivarium. And then that all rounds out with 2 plains and 9 mountains. We'll talk about their sideboard after game 1. I know before we dive into the match that I did say in my deck tech video for my deck that I was not going to be spending too much time talking about the opponent's decks in this full run. I have reconsidered since that deck tech recording. I think talking about the opponent's decks is going to be very important here so we can kind of establish what's going on. Because this is a big tournament. This is a big deal. Making sure that you know what's happening in these matches is going to be pretty important. So this is going to be the first test of my ability to navigate all of this. It's going to be a tough matchup to start up this run. Opponent on the play every single game where they kick off a match is going to be really awkward. So if we can knock Chip down to the lower bracket here, that gets a big target off of our back in terms of having to navigate through our opponent being on the play guaranteed. So let's see how this all goes, and let's get into the match. All right, we're in here on game 1. Opponent is reasonably going to be taking the play here. Let's see what our opening hand is. 2-landers are always sketchy, always scary, and especially a 2-lander with really no action in the first several turns. Venture Capitalist, not really a 2-drop. I think we need to mull this. We can do better. Not have 3 6-drops in the opener. All right, that's a 4-lander. We can honestly keep all 4 lands. Do we keep all 4? I think we keep 3. We go Temple, Root Fossil, Primal Fissure, crack the Root Fossil. We bottom a Forest, keep Hoenn Champion, End of Mutations. I could work with that. So keep 6. We will ship Forest to the bottom. Opponent leads on a tapped Windbeaten Stones and passes. Our first draw is a Buffer Reconservatory, so if we don't find too much to do in early turns, we can get away with playing this tapped on a turn where we have nothing going on. We are going to lead on the Temple, choosing red and green. And let's run out that Root Fossil. There is consideration to not lead on Primal Fissure next turn. Save it for when we get a Crumbling Tower up and rolling. But the reality of that line is that I think we are just benefited to just get the Primal Fissure rolling sooner. They do have the Kraz Monument. That's not scary at all. Ooh, Astrathian Gentrifiers is a great pickup here. Yeah. If we can hit a land drop off of this Root Fossil, that's going to be big gains there. All right, well, let's go for Primal Fissure and pass, see what they've got going on before we lock in any decisions. Plan is to crack Primal Fissure, probably getting a mountain, given that we have End of Mutations in hand. We could also get a forest and just plan to have Astrathian Gentrifiers go get us our red Nebula. It's also an option. But I think while we have 2 lands in hand, getting the Nebula is not the best plan of attack. They're going to pay 2. They have flags on high, so they can put another counter on the Kraz Monument, but they cannot seemingly animate this turn. So we say K to that. Flags on high enters. They make a pair of 1/1s. So them doing this first makes me think they don't have a 3rd land. Maybe they kept a 2-lander and just hoped that they would draw the 3rd. Oh, no, they have a tapped Windbeaten Stones. Okay. We're going to crack the Primal Fissure. We are going to go for the Forest here. And then let's crack 2. Sacrifice Surveil 3. Oof. That's an unfortunate whiff here. So we could bin Root Fossil, Stella's Journal, and Venture Capitalist. We could keep Venture Capitalist on top and use it to go find like some sort of action later. I think we're definitely binning the Stella's Journal. We're definitely binning the Root Fossil. It's just a question of, do we want the Venture Capitalist? What are we getting with the Venture Capitalist if we do so? This is not honestly that bad of a keep, just on the basis of this goes and finds us our Golden Bloom of the Silenced. Golden Bloom can be very meaningful in this matchup. If we can just name like Karaz Monument, that shuts off their primary value engine. But we don't have the option to do this next turn. The alternative avenue is we could hold it, we could play it next turn, just go get another Root Fossil, get the last one out of our deck, because we're binning the second one here. We could also just save it, try and go find Atomic Core, or Ring of Promised Vows on a future turn. It's tough. We could also just play this next turn and find our Warpway Rings. But I don't think we really need it for the land drop. I think we are going to keep it on top. It's a flexible answer. Gives us something to plan around. We're going to untap. We're going to draw that. We're going to go ahead and play Forest as land for turn. Pay 3. Run out the Estrathian Gentrifiers. Sacrifice a forest. View library. Let's go find... This is also tricky. So we could get another Primal Fisher here, because that does come in untapped. Oh, this comes in untapped anyways. We could get the Warpway Rings as well. So we've got 1, 2. It's going to be 3, 4... I think that might be reason enough to go find the Sulphurous Nebula. It's tough, but I think that might be the best line. The issue with getting Sulphurous Nebula is that it is the find that makes Aurora just unabashedly the worst that she could possibly be for us, but there are only 2 copies of that in the deck. Getting the Nebula does make a Last Wish draw a little bit better. I think... because we currently are not looking at having a ton going on in terms of mana, the Nebula might be the better line. This is tough, though. I could just get the Urban Jungle as well. Just get the dual land. That fixes for both of my top end cards that require good fixing. Yeah, you know what? Let's get the Urban Jungle. That's just the most stable line here. That gets this to be a 3/3. And we pass. So they untap. Notably for Karaz Monument, they only have so many things that do make artifact tokens. Fabricated Anomaly is a play set, 3 copies of Darkstar Severance, 3 Shigani Manor Burns, 3 Gone Pickin'. So they have 13 cards in their deck that can animate Karaz Monument. That's not nothing. They've got 5 out of 55 cards available to them. 5 cards in hand, 50 left in the deck. So certainly there's got to be at least one thing with an artifact in there, just thinking about statistics. They have an 11th of their remaining non-in-play cards available in hand. We talked about there being 13 available options, so math does add up that they're likely to have at least one way to animate the monument here. The downside with getting the Urban Jungle is that it does put me off of Venture Capitalist next turn. They have a Gone Pickin' for the Estrathian Gentrifiers. All right. That is actually fine by me. So they're going to animate the Karaz Monument. They're going to put another charge counter on it. They're going to equip the berry to the soldier token. it's going to be 3, 6, 7 damage. They draw a card. Yeah, this is the strength of Karaz Monument here. We take 7. Berry token gets sacked. Because it is mandatory. All right. Yeah, we are in a pinch, for sure. We untap. We draw another land. Forest is a pretty solid draw here. Though we've just got not a ton going on. Yeah, that root fossil was really a worst case scenario. So we could venture capitalist, go get Warpway rings. We could play the forest and just shut off future animations of the Karaz Monument. I think I want to shut off Monument moving forward. So we're going to venture capitalist. We'll get Golden Bloom. We will play Golden Bloom. Just disable Karaz Monument. So they have 2 more Gone Pickens that could potentially pick this off out of play. Otherwise, we have just disabled their draw engine. So they spent 2 mana on this to draw 1 card and deal 3 to us. Which is solid, but stopping that momentum before it gets any further is nice. And we can entirely just plan on next turn playing Buffery Conservatory and leveling it up. I might also, depending on what the opponent does, I may block with the Venture Capitalist. Just get a 6th card into my graveyard to plan on surfacing these root fossils. Worst case scenario is the opponent has an Offset Daemon available to them here, but we can't really do anything if that's the case. If we had an untapped land, there is the option of sacking the Golden Bloom to Venture Capitalist for the sake of getting a 6-drop into play. I think if that's the case, we still play the Buffery Conservatory. I think if there's an untapped land, we play the Buffery Conservatory and we just don't level it up. Because that allows us to guarantee that we get Hoenn Champion or End Mutations into play. And I think I want to lead on the Hoenn Champion. Get a flying blocker into play so we can block an Offset Daemon. They're thinking. Yeah, we're in a really sketchy spot. Less cards available to us. The mulligan was just not very kind to us. Better hand than we had for the first hand, but still not spectacular. Definitely, especially in game 1, I would have preferred to have a Huskforger Acolyte start. Just really explode in mana out the gate. But we make do with what we've got. Really did not want to go down to 5 in this matchup. This is already a matchup where the opponent threatens to just bury us in card advantage. Darkstar Severance would be pretty rough here. They can convert the Karaz Monument that is now disabled into a 3/1. That's 4 mana. Okay, worst case scenario, they had the Offset Demon. Okay, that's really bad. So Overflow gets made. We'll see what they choose to do as far as which program they choose to put it in. I would imagine program B. Oh, they're putting it in program A. Okay. In case I have a way to remove it. Thinking on this block here. So we take 5, go to 7. Sorry, we go to 8. If we draw an untapped land, Hoenn Champion gives us a blocker for the Offset Daemon. If we don't block, we have very little we can draw. 4 mana is a really awkward breakpoint for us. I think we have to take the 5. So we take 5, they gain 3. They have another Wind-Beaten Stones tapped. We untap, we draw, we do find the untapped land. Now the big question, which is more important? I think it is developing the Hoenn Champion here. We get to apply 7 points of pressure. We get to hold back some of their attackers because they don't get to swing in with 3 things anymore. Us being at 8 means that a terminal impact kills us alongside the offset daemon, so we can't really mess around here. The downside here is that this does allow them to animate the Karaz Monument again, but any line they take to try and apply pressure by like removing things does not. Oh no, Gone Pickin' does do it. Okay. If we Hoenn champion off of the Venture Capitalist, then we open the door for Gone Pickin' to remove the flying bird off of Hoenn champion, which gives them 6 power in the air plus 2 from the berry. That kills us. However, there are only 2 copies of Gone Pickin' remaining versus a playset of Terminal Impacts remaining, and Terminal Impact kills us outright next turn. I think we cannot take the gamble of them having specifically Gone Pickin' as the thing we need to be worried about. I think it is more likely that they have Terminal Impact, so we just need to play around the Terminal Impact here. This is not a great feeling, but this did potentially stymie a turn of aggression. Hoenn champion. We make 2 tokens. Swing 7. Thank goodness these both have vigilance. All right. If they've got the next Gone Pickin', it's just GG's, but what can you do? We've got the 1 flying blocker. This trades with an offset daemon. They go to program A, so they can't get back the offset daemon after it gets killed in combat. But yeah, having to give up the Golden Bloom for the sake of turning off, or for the sake of getting something down into play is just not great. We are gonna have to really claw our way back here. So again, if they've got the Gone Pickin', it's just GG's. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. It's definitely gonna be sketchy one way or another moving forward here. They could have Darkstar Severance. That allows them to sacrifice the chart token or Flags on High and convert that into a 3-1, but though they won't be able to attack with it. They're just sending in the offset daemon. We will take that block. Okay. So we don't take the 3. They lose the offset daemon here. That's exciting. Now, of course, if they are sitting on double Terminal Impact, we're also just dead to that. Okay, it's double Terminal Impact. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Yeah. Wait, X is... Yeah, X is 4, so we take 5. Cool. Yeah. We do not have an out here. We find the Urban Jungle. I mean, we'll shock in the Urban Jungle, go to 1. Play End of Mutations. Swing 9. Yup. They block both. I'm just going to say the GG's now, because there's the Terminal Impact. Yep, we can't do anything about double Terminal Impact there. All right, that's a really rough game 1 there. We just kind of stumbled in every way we conceivably could. Opponent just got to tear across that game pretty unfettered. Sideboarding here, we want to bring in the Hungry Blobs. Enemy Mutations is just not great against them. They have a lot of creatures that could reasonably just sacrifice attack, and they kind of just don't care about their life total for most of the game. So Enemy Mutations not going to be doing a ton against them. Hungry Blob is very meaningful. We want to keep 1 in the sideboard just because, again, having that available to us off of a Last Wish is a nice niche out. I am going to bring in Faces of the Faceless and go down the Astral Displacer. Very niche applicability. No guarantee that I absolutely need it. But Astral Displacer, I think, has very diminishing returns in this matchup in particular. And Faces of the Faceless is something that at least stops their offset daemons from coming back. Talking about their sideboard real quick before we lock things in, they have 3 Golden Bloom of the Silenced, 1 End of Mutations of their own, 3 Looming Psyhawks, 2 Fateful Ascents, 2 Shocks, 4 Deafening Clarions. When I was planning out this matchup, I think they only really care for the removal spells, so the Fateful Ascents, the Shocks probably come in. They might care for Golden Bloom of the Silenced, but I don't imagine that's the case. This is really more of a combo tool to shut off combos. We don't really have much token generation. This just shuts off Hoenn Champion. End of Mutations is more of an anti-control card. We're not really a go-wide aggro, so Deafening Clarion doesn't really matter. So I think it's just the Fateful Ascents and the Shocks that come in. If I had to guess, it's maybe the Flags on High and, like maybe the Avivivas that get going. Aviviva just a little too slow against us. By the time that gets rolling, we're probably just a bit taller than them. So Aviviva doesn't get to do a ton of work in this matchup, I don't think. So I imagine they're going up the targeted removal. I am going to be going up the faces and the Hungry Blobs, going down End of Mutations and Astral Displacer. Let's rock. I will play. Oh my goodness. It is one of those days. Okay. Oh, that's not much better. 2-lander, Golden Bloom, Husk Forger, double Root Fossil. I mean, that's a lot better. We'll keep 6, bottom the Golden Bloom. But my goodness. It is just one of those days. We can go turn 1 Husk Forger, turn 2 Root Fossil, and crack Root Fossil. If they have the Shock, though, that's really bad for us. If they can shock the Husk Forger. If they board it in Shock, they have 6 1-mana ways to remove Husk Forger between the 4 terminal impacts and the 2 Shocks. But I think we just got to take that gamble. All right, opponent also mulls to 6. We're going to keep 6. Ship the Golden Bloom to the bottom. They are also keeping 6. And once they boost them to the bottom, we are good to roll. So we're going to play out Temple. Set the annotation to red-green. And lead on Husk Forger. And we'll pass. They play Windbeaten Stones tapped. That means we're going to get to crack a Root Fossil on, too. We draw Ring of Promised Vows. Well, actually, now we can go Urban Jungle, Ring, Root Fossil, Root Fossil. I kind of like that more. So let's Urban Jungle untapped. Ring of Promised Vows. Root Fossil. Root Fossil. 1 card in hand. Lots of mana. We're going to be stopping on our upkeep and cracking a Root Fossil before we draw next turn. If I see 3 lands on top, I will be putting only 1 of them into the bin. So that way I can bin a land, get it off of the Root Fossil, and then draw a land for turn and have a land guaranteed on top for the second Root Fossil. All right, this is more like it. It's one of the reasons I really like Ring of Promised Vows. This is not a matchup where it's amazing because they just don't have anything that we have to worry about having get countered, but this is still just a mana rock that immediately makes mana the turn we play it. So we kind of spend 2 mana, get 1 mana back when we do so. They have the Karaz Monument. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and I think we're going to use only one of our red-green sources for this. So we're going to Root Fossil on upkeep. Top 3 is Buffery Conservatory, Primal Fisher, Hungry Blob. I'm going to bin Buffery Conservatory, get the Primal Fisher, play the Primal Fisher tapped, and then we can draw the Hungry Blob next turn. So hold on, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, we're going to be lined up for Last Wish next turn. I don't think we can afford to keep the Hungry Blob, so I think we're going to bin Hungry Blob, bin Buffery Conservatory, get the Buffery Conservatory tapped, draw Primal Fisher, main one, play Primal Fisher tapped, and pass. And now we've got 6 mana available to us. So that is going to be most likely a Last Wish next turn. Turn 4 Last Wish. Not too shabby. Tapped Primal Fisher on turn 3 is also very funny. It is a little awkward to be binning a Hungry Blob when that is something we boarded in explicitly for this matchup. But I do think going a little bit deeper so we have a more open selection on our second Root Fossil is just important. And they do not have a ton of pressure on us. Like 3 mana plays they have available. Certainly they could go Fabricated Anomaly or Shigani Manor Burns to swing in and hit us for 3. But I don't think either of those are the worst case scenarios for us, especially since we can just Last Wish and start popping off. If I see multiple lands off of this second Root Fossil, I will not put any on the top. I will just bin all of them because I would also not mind finding an Aurora here. Wow, they play Mountain and Pass. So the options they have available to them are just Fateful Ascent, and I guess Looming Psyhawk if they boarded that in. Oh, they also have Shock. So we will pay 1 and 2, crack the Root Fossil, see if they have any responses. Okay, they say K. Top 3. Sulphurous Nebula. Oh, that's even better. Sulphurous Nebula, Terminal Impact, Stella's Journal. Stella's Journal is also huge. So we move this to the top in a random top of library. We bin the Sulphurous Nebula. We pick up the Urban Jungle. We shock in the Urban Jungle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can Last Wish holding 2 mana up. We will get the Sulphurous Nebula. Pick up the Urban Jungle. We have Stella's Journal on top of our library. We untap. We draw the Stella's Journal. So this costs 4 less. It'll cost 5 less when we play Urban Jungle. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll have 5 different lands even once we fetch a basic. Thinking about math here for mana. We could play the Urban Jungle tapped and still get away with it. So thinking about what we want to play here, what is the option? We could get Vasilisa here. I don't love it, but actually, no. I think if they're holding up specifically Fateful Ascent, they're probably planning to play Fateful Ascent on whatever value engine we go find. So I think, with that in mind, we might have to take a very low-value Last Wish here. Tap 6 mana for Last Wish without using the Primal Fisher. Just untap, get 4 mana back, and run out a... Sorry, we run out maybe like a Crumbling Tower? No, because that's an enchantment. That still gets picked off as well. What can we find that does not get really messed with? Really nothing. We only have creatures instants and... creatures... enchantments and planeswalkers as far as things that are passive threats. Otherwise, there's Terminal Impact and then some artifacts. So, thinking about what we could do, we could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could go find Stonework Titan. Indestructible threat, so if they try to remove it, we can just make it indestructible. Okay, so we shock in Urban Jungle, we crack Primal Fissure, we have 6 mana back off of our last wish, so it is functionally free. We spend 5 of it on the Stonework Titan. We get another land. We get another unique land. So then we have 6 unique lands. Stella's Journal costs 6 less. We'd have 2 mana up. 3 if we get an untapped land because Stonework Titan gets the land untapped. Yeah, I think I like that. We could get Stonework Titan, get an untapped land. The question really is just do we want a Stella's Journal for 3 and let the Stonework Titan be vulnerable? That's tricky. That is very tricky. The alternative is we just go for Vasilisa. And then, like, even if we just go for the potion, that's, like, fine. We have access to... We could just Hungry Blob the Karaz Monument as well. So what if we Hungry Blob the Karaz Monument? We spend 6, get 6 back. We have 5 cost reductions on Stella's Journal. So X is 2 would be 1 mana, X is 3 would be 4 mana. If we play the Urban Jungle tapped, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available to us now. 7 mana available to us after Last Wish once we play the Urban Jungle. 3 mana gets us Hungry Blob, which means that we can play Stella's Journal. X is 3 and still pick off the Karaz Monument. I like that. I like just drawing 3 off of the Stella's Journal. They don't have any removal, at least at instant speed, for Stella's Journal. Finding the Hungry Blob here is really good for us. So let's crack the Primal Fissure. Go find a green source. So let's go get a forest. We will play Urban Jungle tapped. We will play Last Wish. They say K. We will untap 5 lands. View sideboard. And this really is the moment of truth. Like, do we just go for the Hungry Blob, pick this off, double checking the math? 5. After we spend 3, that's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9. Stella's Journal, redraw 3. That's fine. That is fine by me. So 1, 2, 3. Hungry Blob out of the sideboard. So we just pick off the Karaz Monument before it gets any value. Very weird use of Last Wish here, but then we spend 1, 2, 3, 4. Stella's Journal, X equals 3. So set counters to 3 here. Move to end step. I'm assuming I'm good to draw the 3. Just gonna wait to see if they have any responses. I assume presumably not, but we'll see. They say up. We draw 3. We find Forest, Crumbling Tower, Terminal Impact. It's pretty good. If we draw another non-land card, we can dump our whole hand out. They have a tapped Temple of Origins. Anything else? They did nothing with their 3 mana. They're thinking. They're thinking on their 3. Worst case scenario, we can start swinging in for 5 with the Husk Forger, but I think realistically, we are now looking at Crumbling Tower and starting to snowball some damage here. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4 green mana. We could start leveling up Buffer Reconservatory. We'll have 5 next turn. We could play Forest and just dump all of our green mana to level up Reconservatory twice, but I don't love that. They've got, if they boarded in Shocks, they've got anywhere from 6 to 10 different removal spells for Buffer Reconservatory, so don't love it. They're going to pay 2 for another Karaz Monument. Interesting. We are down to just the 1 Hungry Blob left in deck, so that's not nothing. We untap. We draw another Terminal Impact. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 off of the Forest. We play Crumbling Tower. We play Land Drop. 1, 2, 3. Run out the Crumbling Tower. Land Drop. We reveal a mountain. Then we can do combat swing 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we just do this first main, so that way we don't get blown out by shock on our Husk Forger to take off 1 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X equals 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 damage. Yep, they got it. And then we go to combat. Swing 2. Main 2. End. Stella's Journal. Just waiting for the okay before I hit the enter. We find Protean Bows for next turn. Hoenn Champion, Terminal Impact. Hoenn Champion's a pretty good draw here. Sorry, we already had the Terminal Impact. Stella's Journal putting in work here. Karaz Monument just does not dig the way that Stella's Journal does when we're low on cards. Offset Daemon here does jump them up back to 15, does hit us to 15 as well. They're going to get Overflow. Put it on Program A again. That's interesting. We take 3. Also, I should note that this is not normally untapping. We untap. Draw a Roar Buffer Exec. Interesting, interesting. I think we're going to hold on to that for now. Hoenn Champion just applies a little more pressure. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Hoenn Champion is 7. Take them to 8. Terminal Impact. Well, so let's play Protean Bows. We're going to trigger here. We find another land, Forest. I think we're going to Hoenn Champion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hoenn Champion. We make the tokens. So at 7, take them to 8. Terminal Impact, take them to 4. Offset Daemon gains them back up to 7. Sorry, they take 7, go to 8. This gains them back up to 11. Main 2. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna deal 4, take them to 4, then they gain back up to 7. What we're gonna do here is then just funnel in 4 mana. X equals 3. End step, Stella's Journal. We draw 2. We find Urban Jungle Atomic Core. This is no longer available, and this is toggle normal untap. So this is available to the end of our next turn, but we've got the Urban Jungle, so no real need to do so. Plan tentatively next turn is we're going to go for Urban Jungle into Aurora. I might not even block the offset Daemon, depending on what they do here. So it's 1, 2. Shigani Manor burns. That is going to animate the Karaz Monument. They make a treasure. That is tapped. So they draw a card. They are only swinging with the offset Daemon. Just the one attack. Confirming. This does leave them open to try and animate Karaz Monument as a blocker next turn, which is interesting. We'll take 3. Because they could remove like one of their own permanents with a Fateful Ascent. Okay, Mountain. Okay, well now they have the out of Flash in Psyhawk. We untap. We draw Temple of Origins. Main one. Okay. Thinking through lines here. I think we just swing in before we do anything. No, because here's the thinking. We probably want to have Crumbling Tower juiced up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is enough mana to play Aurora and have Crumbling Tower available to sacrifice. Well, let's play Urban Jungle tapped. Trigger on Crumbling Tower. We exile Huskforger Acolyte. You pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Aurora, buffer exec. They say K. We will surveil 3. Oh boy. That is 3 lands. 3 lands plus the Primal Fisher in the bin. So that is another 4 cards off the Crumbling Tower, and that's lethal just off the Crumbling Tower. And if they go to play a removal spell on the Crumbling Tower, we just have lethal with our birds. The 3 lands off of Aurora there was huge. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Last Wish is also great, but we don't have the mana to do that right this moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we'd shocked in, we could. So, go to combat. Swing lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Crack Crumbling Tower in response. And that's game 3 on to, we're getting on to game 3 rather. That's game 2 cleaned up. Our deck doing what it wants to do. Stella's Journal really carrying us hard there. All right. Do we change any configuration on our sideboard? No, I don't think Enemy Mutation is any better. I don't think Astral Displacer is any better. In fact, I think Astral Displacer is worse when we're on the draw. Still don't want to board in the Innocent Lace Spires. Hungry Blob off of the Last Wish was actually meaningful there. Pretty meaningful. In terms of cutting off their overall value off of the monuments. So certainly felt pretty good. Opponent presumably going to be on the play. Yep, they confirm as much. We've got 5 lands plus Terminal Impact Venture Capitalist. Not where we want to be. That is, I think, going to be a mull to 6 again. Opponent is also going to do so. All right, 3-lander, Golden Bloom, Atomic Core, Temple, Terminal Impact, and Hoenn Champion is a little better. They're going to keep 6. We could keep 6 as well. Thinking if we want to bottom the Terminal Impact or the Hoenn Champion. We don't really get up to Hoenn Champion quickly with this hand, but I think we do just want to keep that over the Terminal Impact. Terminal Impact, so what does that do for us? If they have like an early start with Kitsune Matriarch, we want to be able to stop that. If they have... What else would we want to keep Terminal Impact for? Yeah, just picking off one of their things early seems really meaningful. I think we're going to take that over the Hoenn Champion. Ship this to the bottom. I'd rather keep the Atomic Core as well. Primal Fissure cracked. Oh, is this a Plains into a Kitsune Matriarch? That certainly looks like it. Oh, I'm so glad we kept this Terminal Impact. We will draw a Burgeoning Nebula. Temple of Origins, set annotation to red-green, and Timpact. Love to see it. They mulliganed to an aggressive opener, and we just immediately get to punish them. Tell them to slow things down. They play Primal Fissure here. I'm actually going to go for the Burgeoning Nebula, I think. Untap, draw. Root Fossil is interesting. Still think I'm going to go for the Burgeoning Nebula. We play Root Fossil, Burgeoning Nebula, pick up the Temple, and pass. They're going to crack here, go find a red source. Don't think they have anything to do here. Yeah, they're not going to burn a shock. So now we can go Temple into Atomic Core. They're going to play Shigani Manor Burns. I do not think I care to Golden Bloom that right this minute. They make a treasure. We could play the Atomic Core and just trade it for a treasure. It's not the worst thing in the world. I don't love it, but we could. They pass. Okay, they do have a Primal Fissure here. I think if they hit the 3rd land drop, I'm not so okay with trading Atomic Core there. We untap, we draw Terminal Impact number 2. That's pretty solid. We will replay that Temple of Origins, so they still only know about 2 lands available to us. What just happened? How did that just pass turn? I'm gonna double check how that could have happened. Oh, control and return. I see. All right. So yeah, good to know. Probably shouldn't use the annotation hotbind moving forward. That's just an awkward overlap. We're not going to crack the Root Fossil here. We're just going to go for the Atomic Core. They do have something to do with their mana here. Or sorry, no. For some reason, I thought I saw the Plains tap. No, they're just cracking, going to get another mountain. And they draw. Darkstar Severance would be pretty good here. They go to level 2 on Shigani Manor Burns. What do they have here? Do they want to dig a bit deeper, or do they want to just kind of chill? Opponent's thinking. They do bin a mountain. They flip 2 4-drops, so Darkstar Severance or Offset Daemon, whichever one's more valuable to them. I imagine it's going to be Offset Daemon here. They have another land. Yep, they're going to forego the Darkstar Severance in favor of Offset Daemon. That does make sense to me, I think. So now we could look at trading the Atomic Core here for Treasure and Overflow. Okay, they're going to throw this on Program B. We take 3, they gain 3. I don't think we're going to pop it with the Atomic Core. I think we're just going to tap and put a charge counter on it. Get more mana to work with next turn. We have 5, so we can crack the Root Fossil and do something else. We draw a Last Wish. So we're pretty close to cracking the Last Wish here. Main 1. They've got 2 cards in hand. We could just Golden Bloom on the Offset Daemon. So set annotation here. Red-green once again. So Golden Bloom on Offset Daemon stops them from gaining life, stops future copies from coming in with haste. Playing it on Shigani Manor Burns spares us 2 life this next turn and makes future copies functionally useless. This is tricky. I think we've got enough ways to potentially check the Offset Daemon, though I think having this not be able to get haste so they can't just jam future copies to rush us down is nice. Just the Shigani Manor Burns inevitability engine is also awkward. This might be another game where we're looking at potentially just losing the Golden Bloom in favor of just taking care of other things. It's awkward. I think we're going to go ahead and Golden Bloom on the Offset Daemon because we can Last Wish. Amusingly, once again, Last Wish going to find a way to pop the Shigani Manor Burns and the Overflow token with old reliable Hungry Blob. Can't believe we're looking at doing that again. Let's go ahead and Golden Bloom of the Silenced. This feels kind of weird to do, but Offset Daemon. No more flying, no more haste, no more lifelink. It can block now, but future copies do not get to do a ton of work. So they untap. We're going to take 2 from Shigani Manor Burns. I do think that the Offset Daemon losing haste is the most important line we can take here. That's 4 mana. Oh, Darkstar Severance. They had one available to them. Oh boy. The real heads-up play that they could do is they could sack the Offset Daemon knowing that they get it back next turn. But they go ahead and sack the chart. They get a 3/1 Elemental. We take 6. That's gonna sting. It's not great. We're gonna crack. Top 3. Ring of Promise Vows. Aurora is big here, especially with them no longer having a flyer. We bin Forest. Probably even Ring of Promise Vows as well. Yeah, let's bin Ring and Forest. So we get the Forest back. We keep 1 on top. Tap, put a charge counter on. We untap, draw a roar, main 1. I think we want to hold the Last Wish for a turn so we can instead go for Aurora, build up a bunch of mana. So the concern here is that if we're lining up the option to double Terminal Impact, they have us dead to double Terminal Impact sooner. I think that means we can't afford to double Terminal Impact. think we have to go for another line. I think we have to terminal impact one of the elementals here. Worst case scenario is they have another land drop. Darkstar Severance gets to force 3 damage through. They have terminal impact here. 6 damage kills us. That's rough. I don't know if we really have much of a choice. Alternatively, we wait on a roar for a turn. We play the Urban Jungle. We spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We bank 1 mana. Last wish, we go find Vasilisa. Down tick Vasilisa, gain 8. And then jam 1 damage at the elemental token. So then we have 17 life. We're much further out of range of just dying outright, and we have a roar available to get rolling if they try and pressure us instead of Vasilisa. Otherwise, Vasilisa has gained us even more life. I kind of like that. So we're going to play the Urban Jungle tapped either way. Yeah, it might genuinely be the Vasilisa line. Just gaining 8. And then we have a 2 toughness Planeswalker they have to deal with in some capacity. Even if they just shock it, that's 2 damage that's not going to our face. Yeah, I think that is going to have to be the play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to float a red. Last wish. Untap everything. View our sideboard. The alternative line we could do here is we could go for Stonework Titan. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Stonework Titan. We could Stonework Titan go find... no, because if we don't spend mana to burn something... we're still in the same spot that we were previously. We could also just get Millicent Leyspire, actually. It's not awful. I do think Vasilisa is just the play, though. I think just gaining the life is so much better than a lot of our other options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Vasilisa Helping Hand. Set counters to 2. We go up to 17. And we'll kill an elemental token. So, Offset Demon still unable to be hasted out from hand. They get to make a treasure here with Shigani Manor Burns, but we are no longer dead this turn. This gives us a turn to set up a roar a little more comfortably. And if they pressure Vasilisa, again, that is life that we are not losing. And if they don't pressure Vasilisa, that is a problem they're choosing to put off until later. And I don't think they're very favored to be putting that problem off. Part of why I don't really love going for Aurora there is just that we have no lands in graveyard, so there's no guarantee Aurora actually gets to ramp us at all. They have 3 mana. Fabricated Anomaly. They make a Puzzle Box token. That's a little concerning. You're going to loot away a Temple of Origins. Not wanting to develop their mana is interesting. I guess Darkstar Severance just has so much coverage that they really don't need to put more stuff into play in terms of mana. They can just keep popping things into 3/1s. Man, this is a real problem for us. Hoenn Champion, I would not complain about drawing here. I would run out Hoenn Champion over Aurora here if that is the draw. If they don't kill Vasilisa and we top deck the Hoenn Champion, that is great for us, because then we can throw 2 counters on the 2/4 Double Striker. But yeah, right now, Fabricated Anomaly threatens to undo all of our work. They go ahead and pop the Overflow token. So Golden Bloom getting to do its job a bit. Make it so the Overflow just doesn't really matter. And then they swing 3 at Aurora, 3 at us. So, sorry, 3 at Vasilisa, 3 at us. And they're going to eat their graveyard to make it 4 to each. So we take 4. We lose Vasilisa. We can eventually tick up Atomic Core to the point of popping Darkstar Severance and Offset Damon, though. That's pretty nice. And 4 is actually a really nice breakpoint for us where it doesn't blow up any of our things. If we'd shocked in Urban Jungle, we could have this to 3 right now, though. So, something to be aware of. We draw Forest as land for turn. So we're just going to go ahead and play it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aurora, Buffer Exec. Top cards of Library. Crumbling Tower, Husk Forger, Forest. We're going to bin Husk Forger. We're going to bin Forest. We're going to think about Crumbling Tower. I think right now we can't keep the Crumbling Tower. Things are just a little too pinched. So I think what we're going to do here, we're going to bin the Crumbling Tower as well. We're going to get back the Forest. And we're not going to continue progressing the Atomic Core. I'm going to go ahead and cast Root Fossil as Reborn Lily. Oop, nope, not 2. That's the second time it's double-clicked, or double input. So now we have a couple blockers. I will just sack the Reborn Lily to trade with a 4/2 Elemental token here. They could be looking to also just pop... Yeah, they're going to be removing Aurora here. So go ahead and make a chart token. So that's 10 damage. That's going to be 13 damage on board now. So if they have the burn spell, then we're just dead. They loot away a card off the top with Shigani Manor Burns. Oh, no, we're just dead. Yeah, GG's. That's going to be 10 damage plus the 3 off Darkstar Severance. We are just dead. Damn. Just a little too slow. Opponent just going a little too fast. That is the benefit of the opponent getting to be on the play pretty much every single game 1. We stumbled a little too hard game 1, stumbled a little too hard game 3, but we got to see the deck do its thing game 2. Now we've got an uphill struggle for the rest of this run, folks. We'll see how the lower bracket's going for us, but it's going to be a tough one. We're not out of it yet, though. 2 losses kicks us out, and we're only at 1. So, wish me luck in the next match. And I'll see you all in round 2. Bye-bye.